See, like, everybody's a pseudo-psychologist because our cultures are pseudo-psychologically bent, you know? See, but what do I say? I say pseudo because you really don't know psychology, probably. See, you haven't studied it up the wazoo, you're not a psychiatrist, and you don't even play one on TV. All right? See? So we think we know what we're talking about. We talk about ego, for example, or, you know, emotional upheaval, or PTSD, or insanity, or mental retardation, or, you know, just what's going on with somebody in their emotional state or their mental state. And we operate out of this invented cultural idea of psychology, see, because we validated that a long time ago. And you understand, before that there was no psychology. Before Freud there was no psychology, see? So it couldn't have been part of people's interpretation and assessment of behavior. They'd have a different assessment of behavior. You see? So I'm saying in that way it's not real. Same thing with science. Science is painstaking. See? And they get a lot of stuff wrong, which is to say, it's on the road. It's whatever the view is at this point on the road. You know, when you're traveling from here to Timbuktu or something, right? Say, Timbuktu being knowing everything there is to know, say, right? Scientifically speaking, indirectly, and only through indirect, you know, proofs and validation. See? So at this point in your carriage, you look out the window, whatever the view is, you say, this is reality, scientifically speaking. But then you go further down the road, uh-oh, we were wrong about that, this is reality now. And you go further down the road and you say, oh, wait a minute, how naive we could have been back then. Ah, we were Neanderthals. This is the reality now. You see how it goes? See? So, you know, I wouldn't think that science, they know all the answers. No, they don't. Not at all. Not even close. Can't even cure cancer, for Christ's sake. Or my disease. Now, when they can cure my disease, then we're talking. But there's not enough people who probably have it, so they don't care. You see? Because you have to care enough to actually put the time in. And fuck it, who cares if Ralston gets cured? Something? And, you know, others, but too few. Now, so many people get cancer. It's epidemic now. It didn't used to be, you know. It's on the increase. It's growing exponentially. So, right there, you could consider, why? What are we doing that has increased cancer multifold? See, do you think about that? See, and probably what it is has been scientifically produced. You following that? See? Is it that we're always surrounded by electricity? You ever think about that? How about you're constantly being bombarded by satellite waves, radio waves, microwaves, cell waves, constantly passing through your body. How do you think when you open up a phone that you can get something out of the magic, out of the air? See? It's happening in your body too, you understand, right? You heard the one about the bees? Put the cell phones on the bee hive, right? Bees fucked up. Fucked up the beehive. It's all mangled. You couldn't make it happen. Okay, maybe it's the food we eat. All the preservatives, perhaps. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's the mercury in the water we put in there. Maybe it's the
laundry soap.
Maybe it's the laundry soap. You know. Yeah. Maybe it's this always wearing damn clothes, huh? Maybe that's it. Or maybe it's pollution in the air. You know, this place, like I go out like in Oakland in the old school, right? I go out to my whatever Camaro or something like that, and they could run a finger, right? You ever done that? And it's black. See? That means you're breathing that stuff. See? Yeah. Same thing in Hawaii, because they got the volcanoes and stuff like that, and also the salt in the volcanoes. Anyway, I'm just saying, see? So we may well have produced, unlikely, we haven't discovered what or the multiple layers of what, but we might well have, through our scientific methods and our understandings thus far, produced stuff that's killing us. We certainly have with the climate. You see? That was scientifically done. It's true. Without science, we wouldn't have the problems we have with climate change. We wouldn't have the problems we have with pollution in the air. But we also wouldn't have the cars to drive. Well, we would if we wanted to go electric now, but who knows? Maybe electricity is also fucking you up. How do you know? Sitting on top of all those batteries, huh? Ionizing the air. Who knows? You see what I'm saying? A little bit. I'm just trying to create some holes in our knowledge of the way things are, see? How we hold things. In the end, I don't care either way. But you see what I'm saying? See, and then we live out of, science. Your relationship to science is not much more than your relationship to a religion, if you believed in the religion. You see, if you believed in the religion, and that there's a God, whatever, Jesus, whatever, and all the funny little hats and see, you would say, no, that's blasphemy. Don't you blaspheme around me with this science talk. You say, no, Adam and Eve. We came from Adam and Eve. I'm doing the Christian thing. Well, the Jewish Christian thing, Adam and Eve. Now, come on. From a scientific point of view, Adam and Eve is not only ridiculous, it's impossible. Couldn't happen. You can't do that. You can't start a whole community from two people like that. And then everybody comes from Adam and Eve. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, biologically speaking. But can you see the crazy families? Not an apple and a number 2 Mongol pants. You'd have a deformed guy and a sickly, and it'd go downhill real quick. But in any case, you see, right? But you might believe that. Because, it demands faith. It demands belief. So kind of science is that way for you, isn't it? See? And they say, oh, no, but we have proof. Hey, we have God. We have the Word of God, and it's written down in this book. It's the Word of God. You can't go against the Word of God, can you? Yes, I can. But in any case, you see what I'm saying? See? So the actual relationship to the matter, you don't go out and do the research yourself. You're not even a scientist. You haven't even studied it. You don't even know the rigors of science. You see? And you just take the belief, the faith, just like you would a religion. Okay? They say, no, we proved it in the lab. It's written down in the manual. Okay, science. And it's the truth. Why? Because we can reproduce it in the lab, and it can be reproduced by peers. And it'll come out with the same result until somebody finds the assumption that we overlooked that disproves some kind of premise that, then moves us into a different domain. And that happens all the time. See? Have you ever even done an experiment? One scientific experiment.
High school.
Yeah? Was it an actual experiment, or was the result predetermined?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I think it's predetermined. Like, we have a goal in mind to get, usually in biology and stuff.
Yeah, it's like titrating out some chemical in nutmeg and weighing it up for your organic chemistry class But that's going through the motions. You have to know how to go through the motions well in order to do that, right? See? But that's not an experiment. That's mechanics. And you do the mechanics well because it costs half your grade. This guy, right on the nose. Right on the nose. I was surprised. I mean, right. Anyway.
So you mean something new that has been done before? Or
Yeah.
a trend? No,
Yeah.
haven't done it.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying, see? So you might want to like hold a little bit more openness around your science. It might not be what you think it is, because you really don't know what it is. See? You just know what you've been told. Just like anybody who does religion knows what they've been told. You'd probably be a little bit closer to either if you took, theology or became a priest or something and involved yourself in religion. You might know more about it than you do now. And just like if you became a scientist and underwent the rigors of science and studied lots and lots of science, etc., you probably know more about it, and you'd have a different relationship to it. But you see, we overlook assumptions. We fall into beliefs. See? Beliefs, as if they're true. Remember the round planet. See? You've likely never seen a round planet, except from pictures. Yeah? So how do you know this is that? How do you know this is that? You actually don't know this is that. You have to make a leap of faith. Right? See? It's a good leap. There's no reason not to make it, you see. You trust the people who say, no, we really did, we really did go into outer space, and we really did take the picture, and we could see the round planet. And, we also, before that, we had, ways to prove it and stuff like that, even though we couldn't see it. But now we can see it too, so that's really cool. And, we could have other stuff to prove it. You go, okay, that makes a lot of sense. That's rational and well thought out, and I believe it. But in the end, you simply believe it, you see. And if you get to your experience, your actual experience, you have no idea this is round. It doesn't look round. Does it look round to you? It doesn't look round. It looks bumpy to me. See? It goes over in there, got bumpy and stuff like that. And even when I drive on it, it seems pretty flat with bumps. Right? See? You can't find a round. And even if you drove, just scientifically speaking, even if you drove 25,000 miles and came back to where you were, it would still be a conclusion that you went around the planet. It'd be a little more decent than it is now, right? Because you drive the whole damn thing, 25,000 miles circumference, right? Around the planet. Do you know how big this planet is? Well, drive 25,000 miles, and then that would just be one lap around one small road. And there isn't a road, but, whatever you have to do. Get a jet ski.